Is a meat-free life the secret to aging well? The truth behind the plant-based craze in seniors in a small village in India. There is a community where people live well into their 90s, active, joyful, and with barely a trace of common chronic diseases. Do you know what they all have in common? They have not touched meat in decades. But here's the twist. Some of them are severely anemic, others suffer from muscle loss, and a few cannot even stand without help. So it begs the question, is a meat-free lifestyle really the secret to aging gracefully? Or could it be quietly robbing our elders of the very strength they need to enjoy their golden years? Let me ask you something. If someone told you that giving up meat could add 10 years to your life, would you do it? What if those 10 years meant fragile bones, thinning hair, and constant fatigue? We are living in a time where plant-based eating is not just a trend. It is almost a movement. From celebrities to monks, from Silicon Valley CEOs to your next-door neighbor, everyone seems to be switching to tofu and kale. And when we hear words like detox, natural, clean eating, we instinctively think healthier, better, safer. But is that really true for the elderly? The body at 70 is not the same as the body at 30. A digestive system that once ran like a well-oiled machine now struggles with absorption. Muscles fade faster. Bones get thinner. Nutrients once taken for granted now require precision, like tuning a piano that is out of key. As Leonardo da Vinci once said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. But simplicity without knowledge can become dangerous. A diet that sounds pure might still leave the body empty. So, what is the truth about vegetarianism for older adults? Can plants alone provide the fuel a 70-year-old body needs? Or is the growing trend of senior plant-based diets more about image than impact? What makes this topic so unique is that it challenges a deep belief that natural always means healthy, forces us to think beyond fads and personal values, and to look hard at the science and the stories. And right after this, we are diving into exactly that. You will discover what no one is telling your parents, or maybe even your doctor, about the hidden risks and surprising benefits of eating plant-based at an advanced age. Stay with me. This might just change the way you think about food, aging, and everything in between. 1. Why do some plant-based seniors thrive while others suffer? The hidden mechanisms behind a meat-free diet. It sounds peaceful. Giving up meat, living closer to nature, embracing a cleaner plate. But the body has its own rules, especially as we age. And those rules, they do not always play nice with idealism. What we eat after 60 can determine how we stand at 70. Let us start with something simple but deeply overlooked. Protein. In your 30s, you could probably skip a few meals, live on fruit and rice, and bounce back the next day. But after 60, that bounce is gone. The aging body naturally loses muscle mass, a condition known as sarcopenia. It happens silently, until one day getting out of a chair feels like climbing a hill. The scary part: most plant-based foods are low in complete proteins, meaning they do not contain all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. That is not a problem when you are young and strong, but in older adults, that gap becomes dangerous. I once had a patient, 81 years old, bright eyes, sharp wit, who had been eating vegetarian for almost a decade. But over the past 2 years, her arms had thinned, her grip weakened, and she had fallen twice in her kitchen. Her blood work was fine, but her muscle protein synthesis, her body's ability to build and repair muscle, was drastically low, all because she did not know how to combine the right plant foods to create complete proteins. Vitamins do not shout when they go missing, but their absence whispers over time. Next comes vitamin B12, the quiet saboteur, found almost exclusively in animal products. This vitamin keeps nerves healthy and prevents fatigue and memory loss. Without it, numbness in the hands, unexplained mood swings, and in some cases, even hallucinations. And the worst part? By the time symptoms appear, the damage has often already begun. I remember one retired school teacher who came to me complaining of brain fog and irritability. She thought it was just old age, but her B12 levels were critically low. It took months of supplements just to bring her back to baseline. Bones are the last thing we worry about until they break. Now let us talk about calcium and vitamin D, the twin protectors of bone health. Meat is not the issue here, but dairy often is. Many plant-based seniors also avoid milk, yogurt, or cheese, fearing fat or following strict vegan guidelines. Without enough calcium and vitamin D, bones become porous, fragile. A small slip can mean a fractured hip, and for some, that marks the beginning of physical decline. Not everything that feels light is good. Many seniors tell me, "I feel lighter since going vegetarian." And yes, at first, less bloating, easier digestion, even weight loss. But losing too much weight after 60 is not a win. It is a warning sign. Rapid weight loss, especially loss of muscle and fat stores, reduces immunity. It slows healing. Is the reason some seniors go from independent to bedridden within months. Personal reflection. I love the spirit behind plant-based living. But I have seen what happens when the body is left out of the conversation. Eating with compassion is beautiful. But health needs knowledge, not just good intentions. As Albert Einstein once said, "A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it." Understanding the mechanisms, the hidden needs of the aging body, is how we avoid the silent traps of poor nutrition. In the next section, we are going to uncover the biggest mistakes people make when adopting a vegetarian diet in their senior years. And more importantly, how to avoid them. Trust me, this is where things get real and really useful. 2. The most common mistakes seniors make when going plant-based and why they can be dangerous. It is not the diet that harms you, it is how you misunderstand it. Many older adults turn to vegetarianism with the best intentions. They want to feel lighter, live longer, and avoid disease. But what I have learned over and over again is that even a beautiful idea can become harmful if done blindly. Let us talk about the most common and most dangerous mistakes seniors make when switching to a plant-based diet. If your meals look like steamed greens and white rice, we need to talk. Mistake number 1, eating too little protein too often. This is the silent epidemic of older vegetarians. Many seniors I meet believe they are eating healthy. A bowl of boiled vegetables, some plain tofu, maybe a little rice or soup. It feels clean. It feels light. But it is almost always too low in protein to support aging muscles, organs, and immune function. I had a 74-year-old client who was proud of her strict plant-based eating. But over the course of a year, her arms became so weak she could not carry her grocery bags. She was eating plenty of calories, but only 20 grams of protein per day. A healthy older adult needs more than double that. Without protein, you do not just lose weight, you lose function. Cutting out meat is fine. Cutting out entire food groups, not so much. Mistake number 2, avoiding dairy, eggs, and fortified foods without proper replacements. I deeply respect full veganism, the ethical commitment, the environmental mindfulness. But when older adults eliminate dairy and eggs without carefully replacing the lost calcium, vitamin D, and B12, they create nutritional holes that widen with age. One of my patients developed osteopenia, the early stage of bone loss, within 2 years of cutting out dairy. She was walking daily, eating salads and nuts, and thought she was doing everything right. What she did not realize was that her almond milk had no calcium, and her body was slowly draining its reserves to keep her blood levels stable. Thomas Edison once said, "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame." But that care requires knowledge, not just good intentions. Healthy on the outside, but inflamed on the inside. Mistake number 3, over-relying on ultra-processed vegetarian foods. Just because something says plant-based does not mean it is good for you. In fact, Many meat substitutes and vegetarian snacks are high in sodium, oils, and artificial additives. I once did a pantry check for a client who had proudly gone vegetarian. What I found: packaged vegan sausages, frozen meatless nuggets, plant-based cookies, all cleverly marketed, none truly nourishing. Her blood pressure had spiked. Her cholesterol, surprisingly, had not dropped. Why? Because processed food is still processed, whether it comes from a cow or a soy lab. What you do not measure, you cannot manage. Mistake number 4, not checking blood levels regularly. Many seniors believe that if they feel okay, their body must be okay. But vitamin and mineral deficiencies develop quietly and gradually, often showing no symptoms until the damage is done. I always recommend a full blood panel every 6 to 12 months for any senior on a plant-based diet. It is not about fear. It is about control. Because catching a vitamin B12 deficiency early can mean the difference between a simple supplement and permanent nerve damage. Personal reflection. I love the spirit of plant-based eating, the mindfulness, the simplicity. But it breaks my heart to see it done wrong. These mistakes are not rare. They are common. And they are not always dramatic. Sometimes they just chip away at your vitality year after year. But here is the good news. Every one of these mistakes is fixable. With knowledge, with planning, and with the right guidance. Plant-based eating can still be a powerful healing lifestyle, even in your 70s and beyond. In the next section, I will show you exactly how to do that. How to build a plant-based diet that nourishes, protects, and empowers the aging body. You are not too old to thrive, but you may be one small change away from feeling stronger than you have in years. 3. How to eat plant-based after 60 without sacrificing your health. You do not need to eat meat to be strong, but you do need to be strategic. The older body is like a classic car, beautiful but sensitive. If you are going plant-based in your golden years, here is how to do it right. Start with this. Protein is no longer optional. It is your foundation. Many people think protein is for athletes. It's not true. In older adults, protein is what keeps you from shrinking. Literally. Aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, 3 times a day. You can get this from tofu tempeh and edamame lentils, black beans, chickpeas, quinoa, oats, and chia seeds, peanut butter, almonds, walnuts. I worked with a 69-year-old man who had switched to a vegetarian diet after a heart scare. He was eating mostly rice and vegetables, but losing weight fast. We restructured his meals to include lentil soup, tofu, stir-fries, and smoothies with almond butter and flaxseed. Within a month, he felt stronger and could walk farther without fatigue. You cannot build a house with no bricks. Think of protein as your bricks. Next, supplement like your future depends on it, because it does. Some nutrients are just not present in plant foods, no matter how hard you try. That includes vitamin B12, vitamin D, and omega-3 south. You need to take a B12 supplement, no exceptions. Vitamin D should be tested through blood work and adjusted accordingly. And for omega-3 south, look into algae-based DHA and EPA capsules. One of my most heartbreaking cases was a woman in her late 70s who developed tingling in her feet. We thought it was diabetes, but it turned out to be B12 deficiency-induced neuropathy. It could have been prevented with a $10 bottle of supplements. Do not eat plant-based junk and call it health. Going vegetarian is not a free pass to eat boxed veggie nuggets and processed soy burgers. These foods are often high in sodium and unhealthy oils. Instead, cook fresh when you can. Even simple meals like stir-fried bok choy with tofu, lentil stew with brown rice, oatmeal with chia, banana, and almond milk. One of my clients, a retired nurse, made a rule. If I cannot pronounce the ingredients, I do not eat it. She was glowing at 80. Hydrate, digest, move. Repeat, as we age, digestion slows. Fiber becomes essential, but so does water. Without hydration, fiber turns into cement. Make sure to drink 6 to 8 cups of water daily, especially if your diet is heavy in whole grains and legumes. And keep moving. Even light walks help stimulate digestion and preserve muscle tone. Think of this as the rhythm of aging well: food, water, motion. Finally, check your numbers, not just your weight. You cannot guess your health. Every 6 to 12 months, ask your doctor for basic labs: vitamin B12, vitamin D, iron levels. Blood protein markers do not wait for symptoms. If you want to age strong, measure early and often. It's personal reflection. There is something noble about choosing a kinder plate, but it must also be a smarter plate. I have deep respect for every older adult who chooses to live intentionally, especially when it comes to food. But intention without information can lead you down the wrong path. Like Maya Angelou once said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Now that you know better, you can. You can thrive on plants. You can protect your body, and you can age with clarity, not confusion. Up next, I will share a true story of one woman who almost gave up on plant-based eating until she learned how to do it right. And it changed her life. For the woman who thought she was eating for life but was slowly wasting away, her name was Eleanor. 72 years old, a retired piano teacher from Oregon with the grace of someone who had lived deliberately. When she walked into my office, she did not look sick. She looked proud, calm, even radiant in a soft, understated way. I have been vegetarian for 8 years, she told me, and I have never felt more at peace. But peace, as it turned out, was not enough. She came in for what she called a routine check. In reality, she had been losing weight steadily, 9 pounds in 3 months. Her grip strength had weakened. She had started forgetting names of students she had taught for decades. I asked her to describe a typical day of eating. Her answer was filled with good intentions: oatmeal with almond milk, salads with chickpeas, brown rice with steamed vegetables. Not a single processed food, not a single red flag. Until we looked deeper, her vitamin B12 levels were dangerously low. Her serum protein, a marker of muscle preservation, was barely above the minimum. She was on the edge of what doctors call frailty syndrome, where the body lacks the reserves to fight off illness, injury, or even stress. What struck me was her reaction. She was not shocked, she was hurt. "I thought I was doing everything right," she whispered. And she was, in spirit, but not in strategy. We worked together for the next 6 months, added tempeh eggs and fortified cereals into her routine, prescribed a B12 supplement, and tracked her protein intake carefully. By month 4, her energy had returned. By month 6, she was back to hiking with her dog, something she had quietly given up the year before. I often think of Eleanor when someone says, plant-based is the healthiest way to eat. It can be, but only if you match your values with biology. As Benjamin Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Eleanor's story reminds us that even the purest intentions need direction. That aging is not just about avoiding disease. It is about holding on to vitality, clarity, and independence. And sometimes that means asking hard questions, challenging our beliefs, and being willing to change course, even just a little. Because food is not just fuel. It is fate. 5. Final thoughts: is plant-based living the secret weapon or silent threat for seniors? So let us step back for a moment. What have we really uncovered in this conversation? First, we learned that plant-based diets can be profoundly healing, especially in reducing inflammation, lowering cholesterol, and improving digestion. All important factors in aging gracefully. But we also revealed that when done carelessly, plant-based eating can be silently dangerous for older adults. Muscle, memory issues, brittle bones, chronic fatigue, these are not just part of getting older. They are symptoms of missing nutrients. And perhaps the most important realization of all, Just because something feels light or clean does not mean it is complete. You now understand why protein becomes critical after 60, and how to get it from lentils, tofu, and nuts. Fat, vitamin B12, calcium, and vitamin D are not optional. They are protective. How processed vegetarian foods can trick you into thinking you are healthy while quietly setting you up for failure. And the importance of checking your numbers, not waiting for symptoms to appear. You also met Eleanor, a woman whose story shows us what happens when good intentions collide with biology. She believed she was eating for health, but she was unknowingly drifting toward weakness. It was not until she adjusted, adapted, and sought real information that she found her strength again. I want to leave you with this. Every choice you make with food is either a deposit into your health or a quiet withdrawal. And in this stage of life, you cannot afford overdraft. As the writer Annie Dillard said, how we spend our days is of course how we spend our lives, okay? And how we eat day by day will shape not only our years, but the quality within those years. So ask yourself, if you could go plant-based and stay strong, energized, and clear-minded, would you commit? And if not, what is stopping you? Old habits, fear of change, or just lack of direction? You deserve to know that eating with compassion does not mean sacrificing your strength. You can age gently, but powerfully, when you understand what your body truly needs. If this video gave you even one moment of clarity, one shift in how you view your food, your health, or your future, then I invite you to join the conversation. Leave a comment below. Are you or someone you love on a plant-based diet? What has the journey been like? Share this video with a parent, a grandparent, or a friend who might be one good meal away from feeling better. And make sure to subscribe because in the next episode, you're going deep into the truth about calcium, bone loss, and why falls after 60 are more preventable than most people think. This is not just about food. This is about aging on your terms, with knowledge, dignity, and a full plate.